Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a Friday night episode of Light Sports Ramble. As always, my pleasure to come to you this evening. I hope you all enjoyed yesterday's segment. And just so you're aware, every Thursday, Evan Watallison is going to co-host with me. Thursday night has now been deemed Packer Recap, Packer Preview Night with my co-host, Evan Watallison. He's got some great information. I love chatting with him. We always get together about 10 minutes before the Ramble, just throw some ideas out, discuss the game, and then we carry it over into the Ramble, and it's awesome. I really enjoy talking with Evan. So next week, anybody that listens who is a Packer fan, chime in after the game. Let us know your thoughts. We'll take note of that, and then on Thursday night, we'll discuss some of the tweets. You know, I know Evan and I went past the time limit last night, got it cut off short. I think next week we may actually do part 1, which is our talk and our preview, and then part 2, which will be our Twitter questions and answering questions from you guys when you're listening. So I look forward to that. It's a great new segment I'm going to have on the Light Sports Ramble. Just love the opportunity to talk with Evan every week. But with that said, folks, going to get into my episode on Fridays, which is my upset preview. And again, let me preface how I do my upsets. My upsets are based on the power rankings that come out from ESPN. So if I pick a lower ranked team to beat a higher ranked team, that is considered an upset. So overall last week I was 10-6. Not bad, average. My upset picks, I was 3-3. Very easily could have been 5-1. But this isn't horseshoes. This is NFL football. 60 minutes, then the gun sounds. So I was 3-3 in my upset picks last week. This week I only have 4 upset picks. But I also did something against the norm. If you remember last week's episode on Friday night, I talked about winning percentages, home field advantage, and does it play an important role in NFL football? And the answer was not really. 57% of the time, the home team wins. Which means that of the home teams, maybe only 9 teams every week are going to win at home. Well, this week I have all but 2 home teams winning. So I know I'm not going to be right. But I always like to be out on the edge a little bit. Always stirring the pot, a little bit of controversy coming up from the Ramble. But let's get into the 4 upset picks. The first one is the Chiefs over the Cowboys. Power rankings, the Chiefs are 20, the Cowboys are 13. And if there's ever any injustice in these power rankings, here it is. Clear evidence of winning, moving the Cowboys up a number of spots. But I've got my concerns with the Cowboys. Yes, they won the game. But they didn't turn the ball. They forced 6 turnovers. 6. And the Giants were still in the game late in the 4th quarter. That is very concerning to me. Very concerning. Because if I'm forcing 6 turnovers, I should be able to run away with that game. That's my concern with the Cowboys. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they win against an inferior team. They go there, they get the win. Defense pitched the shutout. The offense gave the Jaguars 2 points. And the power rankings dropped them 1 spot to 20. Yeah, they weren't flashy. They didn't wow the world. But again, that's an Andy Reid team. That's what Andy Reid's teams do. They go in and take care of business. Alex Smith protected the ball. They ran the ball just enough. And I stated earlier in this week, I think Alex Smith has just found his match made in heaven coach with Andy Reid to give him the opportunities to not have to win the game, but to just play smart. And I think that's what Alex Smith needed. Now, he didn't look like an elite quarterback, nor do I think he'll ever be an elite quarterback. But he looked pretty good in week 1. And I think he's going to look pretty good in week 2. And I think they're going to take care of the Cowboys. Because I don't see the Chiefs turning the ball over 6 times. And I think people overlook a pretty darn good Chiefs defense. So I'm calling the Chiefs at home my upset pick. And maybe this time they can move up in the rankings when they beat a number 13 team in the power rankings. My second upset pick is the Buccaneers over the Saints. Yes, I'm calling the Buccaneers over the Saints. People are going crazy about this probably. Buccaneers have fallen to 28th in the power rankings. The Saints have moved up to number 8. The Saints played one heck of a game against the Falcons. They looked really good. And they had a defensive stand inside their own 10-yard line to seal that game. And we know the Buccaneers offense looked pretty dismal against the New York Jets. But I'm also going to give the Jets some credit. 2 weeks now, that Jets defense is playing inspired football. Now, I'm not saying they're a great defense, but they're playing pretty solid defense. Granted, last night the Patriots dropped the ball a lot, but I thought the Jets defense did enough and they played really well against Tom Brady. They held Tom Brady to 9 first downs and made them punt 10 times. The Patriots punted more yesterday than first downs achieved. And granted, I know the young receivers in New England, and that's what people will say, well, a lot of drop passes, Tom Brady was getting frustrated. Well, isn't that part of the NFL? Maybe some of that had to do with the Jets' defense. Because in week 1, they shut down a very good Buccaneers running back. Now, I'm not ready to throne the Jets a great defense. But I am going to give them some props because they played pretty well. And I don't think the Saints defense is going to stop the run this week. I think that the Buccaneers get the running game back on track, take some of the pressure off of Freeman. They've had a chance to put the game behind them with the penalty. Hopefully they're going to address those extracurricular after the play type fouls that cost them big chunks of yards. And if they can do that, I think they can beat the Saints. So that's my pick, folks. Buccaneers over the Saints. My next upset pick is the Cardinals at home over the Lions. To me, this is a toss-up game. It's flip a coin, heads or tails, who am I going to pick? Taking the Cardinals at home because the Lions are not that good on the road. Now, I think Larry Fitzgerald is probably the happiest man in the NFL right now. I had mentioned in a fantasy ramble, Fitzgerald is one of those sleeper receivers that you should pick up if you have a chance. Because he's going to be rejuvenated with a quarterback that can actually get him the ball. Now, he has to be standing upright to do that. But he did pretty good getting Fitzgerald the ball last week. I thought the Arizona Cardinals played a stand-up game against a very good St. Louis Rams team. So I think this week, if they can figure out a way to do quick reads, get the ball out of Palmer's hands quickly, because the Lions have a very good pass rush, keep them honest with Mendenhall. I didn't think Mendenhall did that bad last week. They kept the Rams defense honest with some of that run so they could have some of the play action. And it's going to be very pivotal this week that the Cardinals are able to run some play action. Without play action, could be a long day. But I like the Cardinals over the Lions in Arizona. My last upset pick of the day Yes, folks, the Seahawks over the 49ers. And I'm tired of saying how much I think the Seahawks are overrated in the power rankings. By me picking them this week, it means that they're going to go to number 1, but I don't think they deserve to be number 1, not even after beating the 49ers. But they're going to take care of business at home. Seattle is a very good home football team. This is one of those teams that home field advantage really makes a difference. Now, I think both of these teams are evenly matched. Both have very good defenses. Both have very good young quarterbacks. I even give the quarterback advantage to Kaepernick in this. But I just think in a very close game that home field advantage is going to allow the Seahawks to win this game. And when I went through all of my predictions at the beginning of the year, I had the Seahawks and 49ers splitting their series, each of the home teams winning. I think they're that evenly matched. I think it's going to go down to the wire in the division. And this game is going to be no different. Should be a great one. Should be a really good game. But I'm taking the Seahawks at home over the 49ers in a very close game. So those are my 4 upset picks. I think another intriguing storyline this week, of course, is Manning versus Manning. I didn't pick the upset. I know Denver has to travel to the East Coast, and people say traveling to the East Coast is always a difficult task. But I'm throwing that out of the window for this game. It is Manning versus Manning. I think the Broncos take care of business. There's my bonus pick for you. But I think it's going to be a close game. However, I was not impressed with the Giants last week. So I'm taking Denver at New York. Peyton gets the best of his little brother in this one. So it's going to be another exciting weekend in football, folks. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I'll see you at the next red light. Talk to you Monday.